Lord as your Savior. And I know we're not near the altar call yet, but be like the criminal that found himself on the right side of Jesus. May today be the day that you ask the Lord to come into your life and be your Savior, and you can join the first altar call.
When on the cross of Calvary, the Lord was crucified. The mob stood round about him and mocked him until he died. 2 thieves were nailed beside him to share the agony. Or one of them cried out to him, "O Lord, remember me." The third word, a son's undying love for his mother.
Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. They said therefore among themselves, "Let us not rend it, but cast lots for it, whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, They parted my remnant among them, and for my vesture they did cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did. Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother, and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother, and the disciple standing by whom he loved, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her into his own home.
Dr. James Taylor, pastor of the First Baptist Church of Mamaroneck, will bring the third word after the sanctuary choir shall sing, O the Blood.
praise God. Praise God.
Praise God.
For He's worthy to be praised. Pastor Weaver, Senior, Pastor Weaver, Junior, to my fellow laborers of the gospel, and to all of you, God's children, we say good afternoon.
Amen.
As we've come today to share in the last words that Jesus uttered from the cross, I've been given what I've considered one of the most difficult words to talk about. But y'all pray with me.
Yes, sir.
Want to talk about, the third word says, behold thy son. As the mother of the baby born to save mankind, Mary accepted her motherhood and cared for her baby through all that she had to endure. From conception to birth, from 12 years speaking to the elders in the synagogue, to 33 and a half years to Calvary. She acted like a mother. Even though she knew in her heart why he came, she never stopped being a mother. She took care of her son, no different than any other good mother would do. She was a supporter of his ministry. But you remember in the first miracle performed in Galilee at the wedding feast, they ran out of the cheap wine. and she and Mary went to Jesus. And even though it was not Jesus' time to come on the scene and to start, he did so because of the love of his mother. Jesus instructed the servants to get as many containers as possible. And Mary said to them, do as he has said. When someone has been there for you, even though difficult times, you don't forget them. Jesus, in all of his agony and all that he was going through on the cross, he still had the mind to know that Mama was still around. Yeah, he never forgot his mother. Yeah. Now in his last act as a good son, Jesus does what any good son would do. When he's about to leave, he turns. In return, he takes care of his mother in one last act of love. Mary was not only the mother of Jesus, but an outstanding woman in her own right. But she never forgot her place and her part. When God came to her and revealed to her that she would be the vessel through which the Son of God would be born into the world and save the world, Mary didn't understand why was she chosen, but she never fought against it. She never asked, why me? That attitude that she had would serve us well. And that when you know what God has said and what God has told you that your duty is, it would be good if you would just do it without trying to change what God has given you to do.
Amen.
Knowing that his death was at hand, Jesus from the cross scans the crowd. And he sees his heartbroken mother standing in the crowd. He looks at her for the last time as a loving son. And knew that he could not leave her alone without any means of support, since he had been her provider in the latter years of her life. Knowing he would not leave her alone, he looks over the crowd and he sees his trusted disciple, John. The one who had been a forerunner, telling the people about the one who's coming, whose shoe that I'm not worthy to loose. The disciple that was a part of his inner circle. The one that he could depend on. He looked out and he said to John, Jesus tenderly provides for his mother at his death. We could assume by now that Joseph, her husband, is dead. And that Jesus had been caring for his mother. Now that he had to leave her, he may have wondered what will become of her if I don't put things in place for her. Jesus, operating in his humanity, wants to make sure mama is all right.
Amen.
See, if you got a mama, you ought to take care of mama. No matter what anybody else said, because mama is mama when everybody else is walking away. Yeah. He made sure mama was all right. What a great lesson for us today. Never forget mama. As he hung on the cross, sees her standing by, grieving, her heart breaking. He looks and he saw his friend John standing afar off. Knowing that he could trust John, Jesus formed a new relationship between his beloved mother and his beloved disciple. It is always good when you're going through life's difficulties that you have at least one friend that won't leave you. Yeah, Jesus said to his mother, woman, behold your son, for whom from now on you must have a motherly affection. And John, behold your mother, to whom you must have a sonly attitude or duty towards. And John took her into his home without any question or any other reason as to why me. He calls her woman, not mother. Not out of any disrespect, but trying to lessen her pain. To cry out mother would have been very painful and cutting, already seeing and knowing her grief. He couldn't call her mother, he said woman. He couldn't call her by her name, Mary, because there was other Marys in the crowd. Let's notice something here. Jesus took care of his mother. Even though he was in a difficult moment in the final hours of his life, he was not so wrapped up in his suffering that he forgot his mother. Jesus always takes care of us. When we are not even thinking about what's happening after you come out of your situation, we forget. But while we are in it, he remembers us. Mary was not thinking about herself or what would happen to her after her son, who had been providing for her, was no longer here. Jesus had no other way to provide for his mother than to have a friend like John. Even the agony of the crown of thorns on his head, the nails in his hands and his feet, could not stop Jesus from being Jesus, our provider. Can you imagine the honor this must have been for John? And a testimony to how Jesus felt about him. You don't leave mama with everybody.
That's right.
You can't just drop mama off somewhere.
Yes, sir.
You gotta be sure of the one that you are giving mama over to watch out for.
Amen.
John, I can imagine that the honor that it must have been for John, that Jesus thought enough of him. If Jesus, who knows all things, didn't know that John loved him, he would not have made Mary his guardian. I saw and I thought about how John must have felt. The privilege and honor it must have been to be placed by Jesus to be entrusted to take care of his mother. And I thought about what would make me think and feel like John felt. And I said to myself, I can never know how it will feel to take care of Jesus' mother as John may have felt. But I do know how it feels to take care of what is precious to Jesus. But every time I stand to preach his word, I count it a privilege and an honor that he has entrusted me that is so imperfect to share a perfect word with his people. True friends will be there through thick and thin. John had taken on a great responsibility, but he cheerfully accepted it and took her to his house. And this is what I like about John. Even though John already had a family.
Yeah.
You can't put too many women in the house. John already had a family, even though he did not have time to run home and ask his wife if it was all right to bring another woman in their home. John makes a disciple and a friend's decision. Now he has a mother that he would perform sonly duties for and a wife that cared because he cared. You just don't turn Jesus down when he asks you to do something. But I can't turn him down because he has been too good and too kind. He's been our burden bearer and our heavy load sharer. He's been our hope when all hope was gone. He has just been good to us. He's been down our road. He's been our deliverer in time of trouble. So because he took care of his mother, I'm so glad that he takes care of people like you and me.
Joys are flowing like a river since the Comforter has come. abandoned in order to save you and me.
Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. But that is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there when they heard that said, This man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge, and filled it with vinegar, and put it on a reed, and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let be. Let us see whether Elias will come to save him.
The fourth word will be given by the Reverend Joyce Somerville.